What's going on, my eaters? It's your boy Chef Drew, aka Chef, aka Big Drew. And y'all, we are so excited to be here with you this week. We are doing question and answer number 2 with Chef Drew. But before we get into that, y'all, please make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things that you need to do to help us continue to bring you this great content, y'all. Let's go. So, Joe, what's the first question?
All right, we'll start out with an easy one. As a chef, do you find it easy to enjoy a meal, or are you constantly analyzing, critiquing dishes? From Jesse.
Jesse, listen, that's a great question. Yes and no. As a chef for me, and I know I can speak for Gwen, it's ruined us for paying for food. Like whenever we go out and if we pay for food and service, it don't matter if it's a $2 slice of pizza or a $200 fine dining meal. We are processing and critiquing. Ooh, the storm is coming, y'all. I take back what I said. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, we are constantly critiquing. I don't know how to turn it off. However, though, the yes and no part of that is if you want to cook for us, though, we are always grateful because we spend so much time cooking for people. We are always grateful and appreciate when people cook for us. So in that way, it does not ruin you. But if we going out and we paying our money, yeah, I'm critiquing your stuff. Just saying.
Next question is from Lexi. What would you say is the number one unexpected challenge of entrepreneurship?
The number one unexpected challenge of entrepreneurship, Lexi. I know for me, one thing that has kicked my butt of late, like the last 3 years, is when I was working in corporate America, all the systems and processes were given to me. And so all I really had to worry about was the food execution part, but the numbers, the business behind the kitchen or the kitchens that we've worked in, those were all handled by somebody else. Somebody else told me what I needed to know or I delegated it out. And so what I have found is working for myself, one of the areas that I really need help with is implementing systems. I can follow rules, great, but I need help focusing and implementing different systems. And I'm not talking about culinary systems. I got the kitchen, we can do that all day. And I got the service, we can do all that all day. But I'm talking about like the business logistics behind entrepreneurship. Yeah, that has been a challenge, just implementing the systems to make sure that we can track our metrics and things like that. Good question.
The next question is kind of a counterpart to that. It is, what is the most rewarding part about being an entrepreneur?
I touched on this in the first Q&A. For me, the most rewarding part of entrepreneurship is creating experiences and creating freedom for people, for me, my family, for our team, just really being, and for our guests, really being able to create and curate experiences and freedom. That is amazing. And also being able to give back. We're a socially conscious business. Gwen and I are very much givers. And so we like being able to give back to our community and to our guests and our team as well.
Aaron asks, what is your favorite marketing strategy?
Okay, Aaron, my favorite marketing strategy, honestly, I used, before I would say I love just referral. I think, people talking about what you're doing is great, but I won't say that anymore. Even though it's definitely up there for me, I would say my favorite marketing strategy is actually networking. Just putting myself in places, in situations, in rooms with people who are like-minded, and just watching the business that grows out of those circumstances. I really, really enjoy that because I think we are all better with each other, and networking and being in different business networking groups has definitely opened up doors and opportunities that have been very, very fruitful or will be very, very fruitful. So I'm a fan of finding like-minded people and putting yourself around them. Let them know what you're doing, see what they're doing, and see where those things can be married, and going from there.
It's from Danny. They ask, is there a meal or recipe that you are concerned about no matter how many times you've made it?
Yes, rice. Danny, listen. And this is rough as a Jamaican chef. Let me tell you something, because rice is like a food group in Jamaica. In Jamaica, you got potatoes and rice and flour dumplings if you got a starch. That's it. White rice or rice and peas specifically. Sometimes my rice comes out great, perfect. Sometimes it does not. Rice in any fashion always stresses me out. A lot of that I think is probably in my head because I have people tell me that I taught them how to cook rice. And they're like, mainly my wife. And she's like, why are you freaking out? You taught me how to make rice. But in a Jamaican house, y'all, if you mess up the rice, that's a big, big problem. So I'm always concerned about it. My daddy made the best rice ever. And to me, if it ain't like his rice, then you need to keep working. And you know what? Let me put a caveat on that. What makes good rice? I like my rice when it's not undercooked, but it's not overcooked. When you open up a pot of white rice and you fluff it with your fork, when you see that the when it looks like you could pick out or tweeze out any individual grain, that's a good batch of rice to me. But when you bite into that grain of rice, it has to be al dente and cooked properly. If it's hard in the middle, then you did something wrong.
So I'm going to give you one more fun one, and then we'll end on a difficult one.
Okay.
So what's the best dish or maybe top 5 dishes you've ever eaten, and where were you when you had them?
Oh, who wrote that question, Joe?
That is from Katrina.
Katrina. Girl, I'm a eater. Top 5 best dishes. I'm not gonna put these in order, y'all. I'm not gonna put them in order. Recently we went to Marcel in Atlanta, Ford Fries restaurant. Fine dining. Great place. That was a moment. That was an experience. The Caesar salad there, off the chain. The cocktail, the old fashioned I had there was off the chain. You've heard me talk about that cocktail before. Marcel, for sure. Gwen and I were just talking about this. We went on vacation to Puerto Rico. And we went to this village in Puerto Rico. The whole village is known for lechon, roasted pork. Y'all, I think we spent $10 or less, $7 to $10 on this plate of food. And when they handed me this plate of food, y'all, the plate was heavy. First of all, we had ordered 2 plates, and when they handed us that first plate, we said, no, don't make that second plate. There is no way we need that. But the roasted pork that we had in Puerto Rico, that thing was on fire. The skin, they were masters at roasting some pork. If you love pork and you love pig, go to Puerto Rico, off the chain. So Marcel, Puerto Rico lechon, Morimoto's in New York City. Gwen and I went there for an anniversary. what Chef Morimoto did in that restaurant, off the chain, off the chain, off the chain. I have to mention Montana Bozeman. Oh, there's so much good food in Bozeman. I'll say this because, not because any, I'm going to give y'all 6 restaurants because I can't mention Bozeman without mentioning these 2 restaurants. There's a Thai restaurant in Bozeman called Shan. You've heard me talk about it. Bucket list restaurant, off the chain. And then there's a breakfast restaurant in Bozeman called Jam. That's a great, great restaurant. And then if I had to pick one more, y'all, God, we've eaten so many places. My favorite restaurant growing up was a Portuguese restaurant in Point Pleasant, New Jersey called the Europa South. They made this paella, my friends. Katrina. COVID killed them. They went out of business, but when I found out they went out of business, I was sad. Europa South, one of the greatest restaurants ever. And I have to give an honorable mention, and I know I'm leaving somebody out, so y'all don't roast me. This question I could go into a lot. But there was an Italian bakery in Miami as well called Lorenzo's. Boy, Lorenzo's went out of business too. I used to work at Lorenzo's produce market for like 3 whole days. But across the street from the produce market, there was this Italian bakery and grocery store. That bakery, y'all, cannolis and tiramisu and rainbow cookies and rum balls from Lorenzo's. I'd slap my mama, your mama, and your friend's mama for that bakery. I think those are the ones that come to mind first, but I could definitely keep talking about that.
Last one is a big one. Comes from Mark, and he asks, how are you certain that what you are attempting or doing is what you are called to do?
Whew. Y'all, I got to answer this question right because Mr. Mark is my business partner. So I don't know if he's just curious or I don't know if he's testing me, but I'm going to answer this wholly anyway. Y'all know I just give y'all the truth. I'm going to be very frank with y'all. I've tried to do other things. In the last 3 years, I've tried to do other things because entrepreneurship can be challenging, and no matter what, doors have been closed, opportunities have gone away. No matter how much I've tried to do other things, I keep ending up back in the kitchen, 1. And 2, after working for myself full-time for 3 years now, I just can't even imagine myself not working for myself anymore. I feel like everybody is given a gift. And I know for me, y'all know I'm very, very faith-based. I know that cooking and hospitality, service, entrepreneurship, generosity are all things the Lord has given me and my wife to do. And so it's something I think you got to know from a guttural level. Is there a conviction about what you're doing? And for me, there is. Food service, culinary, there's conviction. It's a calling. I can't do anything else. Even if I went and got a job doing something else, I'd still be in the kitchen. I'd still be serving on the side or at nights or on the weekends. I can't help but do it. It's a non-negotiable, just like being married, just like my children and my family and my loved ones. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a chef. It's all I can do. It's from within. It chose me. Is that it, Joe?
The last one.
Wow. Well, y'all really, really made me think. These questions, I'm so glad that I got to answer, and hopefully that you guys got to hear a little bit of our hearts. We got all the questions. Y'all had some great, great questions. I'm glad that I got to share some insight. Hopefully that gave some insight to some of you. whether or not you were just curious and just wanted to educate yourself on some stuff, or if you're an entrepreneur yourself or a chef yourself, hopefully that stuff was able to help you guys out. Listen, we are here to educate you, excite you, and empower you into the business and the life that you want for yourself. Thank you so much for allowing us to do that. If you would like us to continue to do that, please make sure you like and subscribe and do all the things you need to do to help us continue to bring you this great content. Also, on all podcast streaming platforms, look for our homeboys Chuck and John on Last Night's Coffee with Chuck and John. Some great guys, great content. Check them out. Tell them that we sent you. And until next time, y'all, we are gone.